acknowledgement, please. I'll pass it over to Becca.
I have a Jubilee prayer that was given to us this past week for our school council. Father in heaven, may the faith you have given us in your Son, Jesus Christ, our brother, and the flame of charity enkindled in our hearts by the Holy Spirit, reawaken in us the blessed hope for the coming of your kingdom. May your grace transform us into tireless cultivators of the seeds of the gospel. May those seeds transform from within both humanity and the whole cosmos in the sure expectation of a new heaven and a new earth, when, with your powers of evil vanquished, your glory will shine eternally. May the grace of the Jubilee reawaken us, pilgrims of hope, a yearning for the treasures of heaven. May that same grace spread the joy and peace of our Redeemer throughout the earth. To you, our God, eternally blessed, be glory and praise forever.
Okie dokie. Thank you guys very much. Okay, first item is the approval of the agenda. Did Jerry's item go in, or do we have to add it? It's on? Okay, we have to add it. Okay, so Jerry had an item to add to the agenda, which was an amendment of bylaws. So if I can have a motion to add that to the agenda? Got that right? Yep, okay, and a second, please? And do I have anybody opposed to adding this as an agenda item? No. Okay, so we will add that in. I guess it'll have to be 6.2. We'll add that into 6.2 for bylaw amendment. Okay. So can I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended, please? Janelle, and a second. Becca, thank you. Anybody opposed? Cool. Thank you very much. Okay. And the approval of the minutes from our January 13th meeting. Does anybody have any changes, additions, deletions, objections? Nope. Okay, motion to approve the minutes, please.
I'll move it.
Janelle, second. Jerry, and anybody opposed? Thank you very much. Okay, over to Superintendent Melville for the board update.
Thank you, Lauren. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone had a good weekend and enjoyed a little bit of snow, and more to come this week. Okay, for the update. Under the Achieving Pillar, Semester 2, as many of you know, began last Monday with students adjusting to their new school routine, new courses, and their new teachers. Term 2 for elementary also began last week. Term 1 report cards will be going home this week on a staggered release, so you will have heard from your school community if your report cards are coming home electronically on February 12th, 13th, or 14th. All schools will release them electronically, but some of the schools, based on parent feedback, are also giving paper copies to their community. Okay. February 14th is a professional activity day, so no school for the students, and that was communicated 2 weeks ago or a week ago, as per the PPM in terms of reporting to parents about what we're doing on that PA day. So in the morning, all staff will continue training on equity and inclusion, anti-Black racism and mental health through presentations by the Human Rights and Equity Department and Special Education Services Mental Health Lead. In the afternoon, staff will receive training on the ministry reporting tools for safe schools through the Office of Safe and Welcoming Schools. So that's on a document, a resource that we report on incidents. And then the schools will continue to do their student achievement plan. So every school has their own student achievement plan. So the PD that each school is getting is aligned to their school achievement plan. Under the Believing pillar, all schools are finalizing their community outreach projects for the season of Lent, together with their Catholic school council, staff, and local parishes. Many of our schools are supporting St. Vincent de Paul, the HCCEF, and families in need in their community. All of our schools are participating in a variety of activities for the Jubilee Year of Hope. As a system, as communicated before, there is a pilgrimage of the cross going through all our schools. Today, the cross was moved from St. Christopher's to Corpus Christi, and it's one of the school communities where the students from St. Christopher actually walked the cross, and then the students from Corpus Christi met them. So it's one of the communities where they could do it because they're quite close together. The cross is quite large, and if it's too far apart, they can't do it, okay? And then board personnel will be moving the cross. So next week, it's going to St. Joan of Arc, so it will be driven to St. Joan of Arc. I know that the chaplain at Corpus Christi has a variety of activities planned this week for the cross to be there, including a Lambeth walk they have in the chapel that has been created for this. The cross is traveling with a journal for each school to document either through pictures or words their experience with the cross, so whatever their school's doing. As mentioned before, the replica of the Holy Door is at St. Andrew's Church in Oakville, and everyone in the community is invited to visit the church throughout this year of pilgrimage to actually see the door and the symbols on the door. Next week, the cross will be going to St. Joan of Arc. The Hamilton Diocese has invited all schools to send 2 to 3 student representatives to the Ash Wednesday Mass with the cross to attend Mass at the Basilica. Now, Monsignor Kahn was actually in Rome, and there's a lot of crosses coming through Rome for the pilgrimage, but they're not like our cross. That big cross is really a small cross. Stick is what they say that's being carried. Okay, and so what the diocese is hoping is the schools will send a smaller cross with the students, but wants representation from all the schools as much as possible. Under the belonging pillar, you're going to hear through our research department that the school climate survey will be released in the spring. That's a 2-year rotation, okay, when we do the school climate survey. Last year, it was this report, we were communicating about getting those results to parents. So again, once the survey is completed, parents will have that information posted to the school website, shared through the Catholic School Council, but it takes months before research can clean the data to make sure it's all been captured properly and then share it back to the community, okay? But know that that survey will come out again in the spring. Registration for 25-26 is up and running, and we currently have, for next year, right now, we're sitting at 1,024 year 1 kindergarten registrations and 44 year 2 registrations. So we're right on track for where we were last year at this time. So hopefully we'll continue to receive those registrations. Usually we see at least this amount at this time of year. Registrations continue to come in. Okay. Today was the blessing of St. Josephine Bakita School in Milton. It was a wonderful celebration led by Bishop Crosby and the staff and students of that school. Their theme is love kindness, and you really felt it through their presentation and everything that was happening at the school. And Bishop Crosby, like, there were so many beautiful moments that was shared, and everybody who was there felt it, from the kids, from the singing that happened, and just how the school was presented. So what a blessing for that school community. All schools are celebrating Black History Month with a variety of activities, highlighting the contributions to success stories of many Black Canadians. Some schools highlight their initiatives that they've done throughout the year, not just in Black History Month. Okay. Our Black Excellence Symposium will be held on February 20th at St. Francis Xavier School, led by Black students and staff and Black community members. For our new kindergarten families, we will be having our Ready, Set, Go presentations in each municipality before March break for parents whose children will be joining kindergarten in the fall. And our special education team will have their open house for early March for new kindergarten families. At the February 18th board meeting, the action report on the school year calendar for 25-26 will be presented. And thank you to Janelle for being on the school year calendar committee. Under the Becoming pillar, our first anti-Black racism strategy steering committee had their meeting at the end of January, and Janelle Thomas is on that committee. So Janelle's not here tonight, but when she's at the next meeting, she can bring an update about that work. There is a boundary review taking place right now in Halton Hills. That's for all the Georgetown schools with the new opening of the Holy Cross School, the new build of the Holy Cross School in Georgetown. And so it will affect the boundaries of all the schools. And I think Wednesday there's a meeting about that. There is a new school in Milton that will be opening in September of 2026. Okay. I just want to update just through CPIC around French teachers. So across the province of Ontario, there is a shortage of French teachers. Halton Catholic is not unique to that either. We do everything as rigorous as we can to hire the French teachers, but with the new collective agreement teachers signed, they had the opportunity to move to another board. And we definitely felt that in September, where teachers, once the school year started, wouldn't be traditionally able to go to another board. The new collective agreement allowed them to go to another board without jeopardy to their seniority in a board. Okay, so their seniority got to carry over. So we did see people who may live in the Niagara, Hamilton, say Wellington area, had an opportunity to get closer to home and made that opportunity and took positions there. So that's what created what we weren't prepared for this year. And then it's about waiting to those new teachers with French qualifications can apply to the board. So that's where we're at. We also have a lot of French programs between the extended French immersion programs and our core French program. So there is some gaps, but we have SMASH as a resource. So that would be, it's a resource that you can do some programming of French acquire of the language. And that would be for reading and writing, but you need to have the oral component. So each school is managing how they are doing that with the teachers that teach French in their school. And we also have an itinerant French teacher, Kathy Irvine, that any classroom that is using the electronic resource SMASH, she's supporting that teacher and in that classroom to do oral communication with the students. Okay, so it is a real crisis that we have for French teachers. We are actually in a better position than most boards with it, but it's because they're the hottest commodity as a French teacher in every board. Okay, so I know that we were just talking with some of the principals that are here tonight. It is a real concern. We all want the French teachers, but if they're not out there, we're not going to be able to get them, right? So, and then we have the French boards who they will take the French teachers first too. Okay. So I didn't get a chance to introduce Diana Camino. Diana Camino is the principal of St. Patrick's, together with Anne-Marie Malconi, who's the principal of St. Scholastica. They're the principal representatives on CPIC. Vince Monaco was it for many years, and Anne-Marie did it together with him, and Diana's taken the reign from Vince. So they will be in tandem. So tonight we got both of them. It's usually one or the other, but they're both here. And so even that, Anne-Marie was talking about one where she has a grade 3 French immersion teacher is now on a leave, and how they're filling that gap and the supports that they're getting from Kathy Irvine. So know that we're not just not doing anything about it, we're doing something about it. But if the personnel isn't there, we have adjusting staff or using the SMASH program to make sure there's delivery of a French program. Okay, okay, that's it for me. Any questions?
For the school climate survey, that's going out. I noticed, I think it was our last one, we don't get a huge response from parents participating in it. Like, am I wrong? I just feel like I was looking at the numbers, and I don't know, I don't remember if it was just specifically maybe our school, but it wasn't a large amount of parents participating in it. And I know the students are, I know it's optional, but I'm thinking it would be good to have a little bit more kind of feedback on that. And I'm just wondering what sort of things are in place to get people, like get parents, to participate other than like the email that goes out.
From a research perspective, we won't report on anything unless we have 30% participation. So from a school, if you had 30% of your parents actually participated, that's enough of a data collection to get research to do a report, okay? So need to be mindful of that, because even if you have 100%, you could see the same results at 30%. It's basically from a researcher's perspective, right? So we will do everything to encourage, but again, it's optional for parents to complete it. We can't really force parents to complete it. What we do with the students is we'll do it in class. So in a class, students will be given set time aside to actually complete the survey. So I do think through social media, through the schools communicating it, I don't know how else we could communicate it to parents. It's important. It is important, okay? But no matter when we do things, you're always going to get a percentage that will do it and others may not. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'll pass it over to Trustee Dewart for the board update.
Good evening. Since the last CPIC meeting, we have had only one board meeting. That's good news. So at the Jan 21st board meeting, Director Klein presented the HCDSB annual report. And that report was very interesting. It highlighted the outstanding accomplishments and the initiatives that shaped our school board that shaped our school board over the past year. This report focused on the key strategic priorities in our multi-year strategic plan and included data gathered through the 2023-24 strategic plan monitoring survey. So that was a wonderful report. We are doing well in all the areas and Director Klein touched upon all the areas that we are monitoring. At that same meeting, policies of note which passed at that board meeting was policy II-20, child abuse and protection of students, policy II-46, assessment and evaluation, policy II-50, prior learning assessment and recognition, PLAR for day school students. So those are the policies that passed. There was an action item to start the boundary review process for Milton number 11 Catholic Elementary School, which is good news. And staff was directed to initiate this process to establish a new boundary for the Milton number 11 Catholic Elementary School in the south and east of Milton. There was a staff report on the 2025-26 school year calendar, which was presented, and information report on the anti-Black racism strategic plan. The progress that was made for 2024 was presented by staff. In other items, trustees have attended the OCSTS seminar in Toronto on the Jan 17th weekend. Trustees have also attended a professional development session entitled Foundations of Centering Black Experiences in Education, presented by our staff. This module addressed context regarding the global and Canadian history of anti-Black racism, data regarding the student experience at HCDSB, the biases and how they impact the education sector, and a segment on critical self-reflection where participants received tools for learning and growth. We are planning more PD sessions for trustees over the year. And that's my report. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thanks. Next up would have been Denise, but she texted she had to work until 7, so we'll just rearrange things and we'll move to her when she comes back. So moving on to our committees. So first up is bylaws. I'm going to pass it over to you, Jerry.
Thanks, Lauren. We have a couple of motions to table later in the agenda as previously discussed, so I'll defer to that time. Which, suffice to say, we had a meeting and we brought forward a couple of motions for tonight.
Okay, and for parent engagement?
We actually have three things. One, I think we were going to bring up the pathways date if we have one. And Nancy, I don't want to just touch on that.
Okay, so the pathway date, unfortunately, Judy's not available for us in February. She can do it in March, okay? My only concern is, are you okay with it in March when it's so going to be close to the other one? And if it's a need, it's fine that we have two presentations in March. I just wanted you to be prepared about that because she's not available in February as planned.
Like, are we talking the first week in March or the last?
No, she has to be after March break.
Okay, so the second piece, which was the presentation, that's a go with March 26th.
Okay.
And when I say it's a go, we've got the two organizations set up and they're looking for speakers. So it's just a matter of time. So I don't know if I'm okay with whatever it is because they're completely two different topics, but I don't want to overload parents with lots of sessions either. So as a committee, we want to make a decision, or if Nancy, you want to just tell us yes or no?
Well, it's going to be virtual, right? The Pathways presentation was always
Okay, so
planned
then
to
it's
be
okay, I think,
virtual.
right? Yeah.
So we can do it and then record it. So anybody who signs up for it, we'll
Right.
send the recording.
Yeah, so that's
Is,
perfect.
is
then.
that okay?
Yeah, yeah, that
Okay.
works, right? I think everybody.
Andrea, did she confirm a date or is that we just gave her? Okay. But I think, Jackie, what's the date of the SAPIS presentation?
The 26th of March.
The 25th. So if you,
26th.
No, but she's offered the
Oh.
25th. So is that too?
I think so. I think that's, can we do the week before? Still after March break, but there's no.
That's the first date she gave us that she's available
Okay.
to do it. I think she can do it later. It's just the 25th is her first available day she can do
This
it.
is for the grade 8. This is for the elementary schools, right?
No, it's not. It's the
It's-
graduation requirements for selection through My Blueprint. The grade 8s have already done all their things for high school already. Like the option sheets are all in for the high schools.
Okay.
So that's already happened. That's why the presentation happened in the fall for that one.
Okay, so we're not infecting anything by doing it later on.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
And
as long
then
as you're okay with that, yeah.
Okay, so we can, then maybe if we do it in April, it'll be maybe more focused on the CHISMs that are available,
Right.
the different pathways, and maybe about e-learning, and just all the different things that, so what happens is in grade 8 to grade 9, there's a lot of information. But then once children are in high school, they're getting that through the guidance counselors' presentations to the students, but parents may not know about all these programs that
Right.
exist. What I can say is through Superintendent Del Sordo, the website's been updated with all the information there for parents. So parents can go there and actually see all that. And that's fairly new. It's all up there. Okay. And they did that for this reason. So parents had a space where they could go and actually see all the information. What are the requirements for graduation and where are all the programs offered? Okay. Having said that, sometimes some parents want to hear the information themselves. Okay. So I think maybe that's what will get her to focus.
Okay.
And then keep it in the fall for the grade 8 parents the way it's done.
Okay.
Because I think that's well attended for that. Does that capture what parents had asked for? We good with that?
Yeah, that works.
Okay,
That's perfect.
You go on to, on the school, on the board's website, or actually on all the high schools' websites.
Maybe when we do a social media reminder, we can also attach the website as a additional measure. We have two more pieces for us. One, Janelle was able to secure us a speaker, or we have to still speak with him regarding AI, and so it would be virtual. I think as we just want to know sort of what that looks like.
Can I speak to that? So I did go through, now the presenter that Janelle has, it's a teacher presenting. So what, and this is, you're not aware of this, so CPIC members, the November PA Day for secondary was all focused on AI, how teachers are using AI and how students are able to use AI in the classroom. okay? Because AI is here to stay. And so how do we make it a tool, a resource to help kids as they're going through their high school years? So it's important that it's presented by somebody who knows all the things that we're working on as a school board. So I think it's more important that the presenter should be aligned to us, what we're doing, okay? Because we also have, like we have policy and procedures on how we're using the things in the classroom. And many of you may not know this, like ChatGPT isn't accessible for certain ages in our system, right? So we have different AI resources that we're trying to show to kids and let them use them for their learning, okay? But also that we're training our staff on how they can use it, okay? So I think it's important. So if it's an AI presentation, I think it should come from our board staff to parents so they understand what we've been doing with our teachers and how to get that out, okay? So that, I was hoping I was going to share that with Janelle tonight, but she's not here. So just, if that's the next presentation, we can do that. We can plan for that. And that would be through Superintendent Grohl's office. We'll do that type of a presentation.
Are we looking at this school year, or do you think we should put that off until the fall?
What do you want? What do you?
I mean, we can work with that. We can still plan for it and just have it be in the fall. That's not a problem. I just don't want to, I think my piece is, it gets harder to get people interested when the summer months come in, me and you. I also know parents are very busy with I don't want to put too much on their plate. So I also know that from September to November, parents are very interested in everything school related and they really are engaged. So I don't know if that would be a better time to have those conversations. But like I said, we can plan for it, I think, in the fall.
And that's good planning for your committee that we actually plan the first two for
Right.
the fall, like for May. Like in May, by May, we have it locked in. We know that we're going to do pathway planning for grade 8 to grade 9. And then we'll have the AI. Sorry. Okay, so if we do it that way, okay.
The last piece is our human trafficking presentation, which brought up a really great set of resources that we have at the school board. So Superintendent Cordero and I was speaking. We have, right now I'm just setting everything up and then an email will go out to everybody with sort of the details. But so we have March 26th from 6:30 to 8:30 is sort of the timeline that we're looking at. And it's Savis, Halton, and One Child. The interesting thing about the One Child piece is the founder of One Child, after we've secured them, she's coming in to speak. She's actually just got nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. So that's just amazing to have that speaker at our event, right? So I'm praying to God that she doesn't get booked from now until the 20th. Either way, they have a replacement, but yeah. So Savis will go over the first half, and they'll also have a question period with hopefully with survivors. And then we have One Child's presentation afterwards. So we're just confirming the details on that. And then Superintendent Cordero and his team will take over that piece because there is a donation funding piece that goes for the victims or survivors, sorry, that speak to it. So we'll have to figure that out. We were talking about, so St. Kateri right now is the option that we have for the event. However, we don't know if St. Kateri will be ready. So just to be on the safe side, we are going to have Bishop Redding as a backup. And I believe last year we had Bishop Redding we just combined the two school boards last year. We had Halton Catholic and just, yeah. So this year is just Halton Catholic. It's going to be interesting. It's a lot of prep on our end of it, but it's going to be a great, great presentation. So we anticipate between 400 to 600 people attending. We will take care of the speakers in terms of, food and drinks and whatnot for them. Superintendent Cordero is going to arrange that, but we need all hands on deck to set up the chairs, take everything down, because that's quite a few people. And so it'll be interesting to see. The piece before that, that we'll coordinate with Becca is sort of the social media piece. So February 22nd, we want to have something go out on social media because that's the National Day for Awareness. And then maybe, 2 weeks after that, something. And both these organizations can be put into the social media piece as well, so people can go and research their own stuff. But two great conversations with both organizations who we are aligned with. So it's going to be a great session, I think. Make sure that everybody has March 26th at 4 p.m. Not even though the presentation's at 6. 6:30. I'm gonna say 4 p.m.
Tell us what you need from us, Jackie. We'll be there.
And Jackie, so we'll also coordinate with facilities if you're doing that to say we may need some backup to help with the chairs and all that. So, okay. Just back to the question around the information pathways, graduation information. So on every high school's website under academics, okay, there are graduation information 2025. So it talks about all the courses and everything that they need to graduate. It also has the resources for applying to college and university. And then under programs, it will list the CHISM for that school. Okay. So it's on each of the school's websites.
Okay. Thanks. That's everything then? Beautiful. Thank you very much. Okay, passing it over to one of you three for school councils.
Sure, I'll start. You guys can jump in. We held a Let's Connect session on January 16th at 7:30. I don't think so. We haven't had a meeting since then, have we? It feels like a lifetime ago. Great attendance this time. Love these sessions. The conversation is always different with a different angle depending on the time of year and what is hot on everybody's mind. Lots of discussion around fundraising. There was some conversation around grant proposals and how to write grants and sort of the types of grants that are out there in the community from various businesses and organizations that schools could potentially tap into to sort of help with, saving some of their SGF for some of their other expenses. So I don't recall if there's any other hot topics that we talked about. It's always a supportive conversation, and Nancy's always there to help, which is lovely. But yeah, we moved the time a little bit later, and I think that helped. That was Angelo's suggestion, and I think it helped just with sort of the logistics of evening activities and things with parents. And again, it's a drop-in, so we set aside an hour, but it doesn't always mean that everyone is with us for that entire hour. People can pop in and pop out depending on what their priorities are. But again, a good session. And I think we have one more planned before the end of the year. I think it's April 8th is our tentative date, or April 10th, something like that. But we'll send it out closer to the date. And I think that's it. Anything else, guys?
Okay, and then the last subcommittee update is socials, and there's not much to report. It's been a quiet month, but we'll coordinate with both of the subcommittees for what you guys need posted for the speaker series and for Let's Connect and all the rest of that. Yeah, that's.
If anybody's got any tips or prayers that they like for Lent, send them my way. Makes my job hunting on the internet easier. If you got your favorites kind of thing, and I'll tag you as the one who contributed kind of thing. I think that'd be fun. You got lots? That's okay. Yeah, no, please send them my way, or like suggestions for keeping kids engaged and wanting to participate through Lent. It's really hard when you're trying to instill that in there. I want my candy.
All right, thanks a ton. Okay, I'm going to back up in the agenda and pass it over to Denise for our OAPSI update.
Thank you. So OAPSI reps from Halton have the first, meeting of the year. It's virtual this Thursday evening, and the registration link for OAPSI reps has been sent out to them prior in an email that I sent quite a few weeks ago, but it's the guest speaker is Dr. Josephine Lombardi, so she's going to be doing a presentation for them, and it's not just a Halton, it's an all regions meeting, so there will be other regions represented from across the province, and then we will go into breakout rooms at the end of the evening. of importance for school councils, though, is for this group is that as part of the advocacy for Catholic education, as I may have mentioned before, WAPC meets regularly with the Ministry of Education, and they are conducting their survey right now for parents across the province. So I would urge you that for your school councils that you represent or the areas that it's something to note that we are looking for feedback. If you go to the OAPC website and you click on advocate, you will come to the link for that particular survey, and that is open to all parents, not just OAPC reps. So they've been sent that. Their job as OAPC reps is to spread that information to their school councils, but that's just something for you to know as well here. Again, I urge you to take a look at the Parents for Parent newsletters that have just come out. The January edition just came out. Again, lots of resources to look for and share. And as an update, looks like our conference is being set for May the 24th. So it will be in Niagara Falls. We are trying to engage sort of that area and that region, which has not hosted an OAPC conference prior. So that's where it's going to be. There's no details yet on location and school and everything, but that will come out, and I will convey that as soon as that information comes to me. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, so moving over to then the representation on school board committees. So first one is bullying, so I'll jump in on that one. So we had a really awesome meeting about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, January. So I think at our previous meeting, I had discussed that the bullying committee wants to put together a bit of a task force, quote unquote, that takes members from the bullying committee, from CPIC, from CIAC, the Spec Ed committee, and from Student Senate to come together to find a way to try to support parents at home for some of the efforts that how parents can better support anti-bullying efforts that complement what we're doing at school. So just trying to hit it from multiple points of view. So what the committee's decided to put together is going to be it's still kind of taking shape, but the shape it's looking at right now is going to be like an educational video campaign with a series of videos and short clips that are going to be sort of social media friendly about different topics related to bullying. So at the last meeting, I brought up those poster series that's in all of the schools about standing up for bullying, reporting bullying, not being a bystander, all that sort of thing. And so this would be a video campaign that would kind of complement that and trying to get that out to more students and to more families so that parents can support at home. I had wanted to talk to Janelle about it tonight, so I will catch up with her on that one when she's back. So that was our major thing that's coming out of that committee, which is super exciting. They also gave an update on the Second Step program, which is a social emotional learning program. And the school board's in the second year of putting that out, and it's focused at grade 3, 4, and 5 students. And it's that early intervention on bullying, both not being like how to not be a bully, which should be a given, but there we go. What to do if you are being bullied, and how to be an upstander and not a bystander. So that program is now in 20 of our schools across 60 classrooms and is reaching 1,455 students. And the hope is that it can be further extended next year, but they're waiting for confirmation on that. So that is the update from the bullying committee. So does anybody have any questions before I move on? Cool. Okay, so moving on to focus on faith.
That's Emily and I. Meeting is actually tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So Emily has agreed to attend on our behalf because I have a conflict. So we'll report back next meeting.
Awesome. Okay, homeschool parish. Ada, do you have anything on that one? Nope. Okay. Journeying with Jesus, Jerry.
Yes, attended a meeting about 3 weeks ago now, I guess. So Journeying with Jesus will take place during Catholic Education Week on the Thursday, May the 8th. So kind of a few of the key highlights, similar to prior years, there'll be local Journeying with Jesus events at each local school. There will be a board-wide liturgy that will be pre-recorded and then shared across the board via YouTube, via our usual channels. And that will that liturgy will take place at St. Andrew in Oakville with Father Con. So that will be wonderful, to be sure. As well, just one of other, kind of other little highlights of what they have planned is having a contest for students at different grade levels and groupings. Using different forms of media, similar to I think what we saw around Keeping Christ in Christmas. The similar kind of a contest, and they will have prizes for that, and they're sourcing prizes from Knights of Columbus and Catholic Swimming League and the like. So that's just some of the highlights, and more to come. There's another meeting coming up first week of March, so I'll have further updates after that.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, mental health.
No update.
School year calendar.
We are done.
Awesome. Okay, so moving into our discussion items. So 6.1, our final plans for Council of Chairs are just coming up rapidly. It's next week, the 19th, and I'll pass it over to Janelle.
Okay. Andrea, do you have the draft agenda you can throw up for us? So I think what we had landed on was it's coming. Okay, so we will need volunteers for land acknowledgement, opening and closing prayer. So I'll put that in our WhatsApp group, and hopefully some individuals will step forward to help us out with those roles. Lauren and I will cover the welcome. We wanted to talk briefly about CPIC elections, just sort of to highlight it. We kind of did a draft in terms of how we might want to revamp elections this year. So we're going to touch on it a bit with the bylaw piece, but Lauren and I and Andrea will work on getting the information about elections out this week, but we will also highlight it again at Council of Chairs so folks know that it's upcoming, what the vacancies are, what the process is going to be, those key dates in terms of deadlines, etc. So we'll take a few minutes to talk about that. And then, of course, we will have trustee remarks and remarks from Director Klein, and a brief update from Denise. And then we're going to have sort of, I think it's 4, right? 4 speakers coming. So as you can see, we broke up the speakers with an activity in the middle. So we have Chaplain coming to talk about community outreach. We have Halton Food for Thought, then the networking ice-breaking piece, then Food for Kids Halton, and Halton Catholic Children's Fund. So this sort of theme of the night is really about resources that councils can utilize in terms of referring families within their schools that may be struggling with things like food, financial burdens, etc. So I know at my own school, we do a really good job of raising funds throughout the year and donating them to charities. We support our food banks, those types of things. But I think sometimes we forget that we also need to take care of our own people within our own school community. And I know being a chair and having a new principal this year, I seem to be the person that people feel comfortable coming to because they don't have that relationship yet built with our principal. So we're talking about ways that we could open the lines of communication and how do we make parents feel comfortable to come forward and say, hey, you know, I can't afford that grad hoodie, or I can't afford to send my kid on this trip, whatever the need might be. So we thought it would be a good idea to highlight sort of these organizations in terms of what they could offer. And then the piece from the chaplain services is really about language around how we can sort of start those conversations or hold those conversations with families. So Emily and I and Lauren have been talking about an activity to sort of break up that relates sort of to the topics that we're going to be talking about. So Emily, I don't know if you want to share what you were thinking at this point.
So what we kind of came up with, and I've drafted a little activity. Basically, it revolves around like the cost of opportunities and kind of having to make choices. So, and again, it's still kind of in the works a bit, but the idea is to kind of emphasize the challenges that families face when they have limited resources, and it's basically giving them a bit of a list or options of things that they would normally purchase for school or for their household, and then having them have a budget and basically having 3 different kind of scenarios for their little budgets and what they can spend with. I don't know if I'm explaining this properly, but having like flashcards with like amounts on them. So they have to go around basically and get what they need that fits into their budget. And there's another kind of aspect, and I don't know if, I mean, maybe we can do it in 15 minutes, where we would go around and say, oh, well, you can actually get your school supplies paid for. Here are the resources behind it. So again, it's still kind of in my brain working out all the little details, but it's really meant to kind of showcase how what resources are available to families, and then kind of highlight to everybody who's at the Council of Chairs just the struggles of like what families face, because we have a very mixed kind of group of demographics here, and you really don't know kind of what people may be facing. So it's kind of just a little bit of like an eye opener.
And I think the sort of conclusion to all that is, as a council or as a school community, when there are gaps and the money doesn't stretch as far as it needs to, what are some of the things that you can do as a school? So I know at our school, we have some families where we support them with a lunch 1 day a week for their kiddos, or, we've comped a trip or paid for grad costs, or, referred them to HCCF for a gift card at Christmas so they can buy presents or groceries, or a gift card for uniforms, or used uniforms that we have sort of at our school because we do a swap every year. So just kind of bringing it full circle and trying to get folks thinking about what could you do as a school community to support within. And I know Nancy and I were at a school council meeting this past week where they were talking about something as simple as like winter boots and mitts and hats and snow pants, and how parents have children who outgrow. And so they've started a sort of a collection of stuff for families who come forward who maybe don't have those supplies for their kids for the winter months. So I don't know what you guys think about that activity, or if you have any other ideas, but that's sort of kind of how we were thinking of tying it into the theme of these speakers. So I don't know if anybody has any comments.
I have a resource that can help you get it from your head to the table.
I have these little flashcards that I've done up.
Yeah.
With having the different kind of items,
right?
Whether it's a new backpack or school supplies or a trip, and then I have like 3 kind of different cards. So the ones that are essential that you would need for school are all like blue coded. And then we have ones that are red that are like, oh no, your plumbing burst or whatever. So those are things that are basically going to come out of your budget.
So you're going to have them just pick?
Well,
kind of like you hold it out and like.
No, every table is going to have a different.
Oh, you're just going to spread it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's kind of where my head's at. I
mean,
I know it's all in here and it doesn't always translate, but it will. I promise. But that's the thing. And so there's different kind of cards with different kind of like color coded, and some of them are like the purple ones are like, oh, the school covered your trip fees. So like that's something you don't have to worry about. Right. So it shows just, I don't know. But I mean, I'm open to looking at what you got.
Any other thoughts on the activity? Good, bad?
I think it's good. I like it. Reminds me of, I used to do junior achievement, right? Grade 7, I'd go in and with a partner and we'd present to the grade 7s on financial literacy. And there's similar kind of activity in there wherein you have to make choices, right? And sometimes you give up on some discretionary spending because you need essentials, you need groceries or whatever. So to challenge parents that might otherwise take all of those things for granted. But then again, we may have people around the table that we don't know they're facing those struggles daily, or weekly. So I think it's very worthwhile exercise, and I love how it ties in with all the speakers. It's great.
And Nancy and Andrea, just to confirm, all of these speakers are confirmed and good to go? Or excellent. Okay, excellent. Okay. All right, so I think we're set for Council of Chairs.
Is that the timings in there? Like if I wanted 20 minutes for icebreaker, is that not gonna happen? Squeeze 17 maybe? I mean,
What have we communicated to our presenters? Have we said 15 minutes including questions? Okay.
yes, ma'am.
And I am going to request a slide. I'm going to request a slide.
Well, that was my other question, Andrea. Are they going to be sending us presentations to put with our slide deck? Okay. Perfect. Okay, so Lauren, you can. Amazing. Excellent. As many as you need it, Emily. You can have as many slides as you need.
And Emily, if I can send something out to them before they kind of have an idea.
And of course, we're looking for everyone to come to Council of Chairs. We are at Corpus. Pray that the weather cooperates and we don't have to go virtual. Yeah, we would probably just forego the activity if it went virtual because I don't think it would have the same effect. Unless we did like breakout rooms and just like talked about a scenario and asked them to like, yeah. Okay, so we're good for Council of Chairs?
So if we can ask everybody to try to be there around like 6:10, because it starts at 7, so that gives us time to have all hands on deck at getting everything set up. Okay, so next item up is Jerry, your bio.
Yeah, sorry, just one question about check-in, registration, sign-in, circling back on that from our last time.
Good point, Jerry. Do we want to take attendance again? Is there an easier way to do it as opposed to?
Well, I mean, I think we can still maybe have a little reception table and with Sharpies and name tags and encourage them to
Put their name tag on?
But then I think outside of that, maybe we just simply ask them what school are you from, and we'll just check on a list ourselves. They don't need to sign. They don't need to put their name.
Yeah, maybe it just needs to be a list of schools and you just put a hash mark beside it so we know that somebody came.
Just so we know, and maybe if there's 3 that came, good, 1, 2, 3, just check them off. And
that's fair.
Yeah, I think just keep it simple, just so we know.
You and me, Jerry, at the door. You and me.
Yeah, we got this. Yeah, I'm happy to help.
Did we review from the last one that all schools were represented? I never circled back on that.
Not all schools were represented, but they had communicated why they couldn't come. So they had communicated through my office. So when we send the communication out, Andrea, to the schools, we're saying to them, at least 2 representatives from your Catholic School Council, but they could bring up to 3, right? Because the principals aren't there and that's so just, you want to reach as many parents as we can through this opportunity. So we'll keep it open-ended for them. And it doesn't have to be the chairs. It could be other members of the council. The chairs aren't available. We just want to get the message to every Catholic School Council through this session. Yeah.
Anything else on council chairs before we move on? Okay, over to you, Jerry, for bylaws.
Okay, very good. So just as we are heading into the elections, we clearly need to update our bylaws to reflect the change in membership structure going forward. This was previously discussed and agreed upon. Frankly, I thought we had passed this already, but it's still not changed on the board site. So the bylaws are still dated from February 2023. However, my notes have it as having been discussed last May. However, it should be fairly straightforward matter. Yeah.
Are you talking about the representation, Jerry?
Yeah.
About, we couldn't change it last year, okay, in the procedure, because it's in the procedure, around the membership to be 3, 3, 3, and 1, because you were still at the at-large position. So because this is the election year, right, and
Yeah.
Kateri's now open,
Okay.
so that procedure's coming up tomorrow at policy. So that's where it's changed,
Okay.
and that's why then you can have it in your bylaws.
All right. Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay. So we can pass this tonight, and then once passed through policy or procedure, then it can be adopted in our own bylaws. So there is, however, a part 2 to this, just impacts the at-large, or speaks to the at-large piece. So just to recap the first one before you scroll down too far, Andrea, and I don't know, can everyone read that? Or do we need to zoom? Can we zoom a bit more, Andrea, please, so folks can actually read it? Shh. Okay, other way. That's okay. Yeah, sure. There we go. Okay, so the current wording under our terms of reference are that CPIC shall be comprised of 3 parent reps, each from Oakville, Burlington, North Halton, and 1 parent rep at large. So whereas, of course, the growth of Milton, expansion of the board there, and therefore the need for specific representation has grown, be it resolved that the bylaw terms of reference be amended so that the at-large representative position be transitioned to 1 representative from Milton, and that the CPIC bylaw terms of reference be amended to read as follows. So the same, except for, of course, instead of 1 parent representative at large, it'll be 1 parent representative from Milton. Sorry? Oh my bad. Yeah. Oh, my bad. My apologies. Okay, so let's amend that. If we could swap North Halton for Milton there, Andrea. Thank you. And then in addition, we've added the line, in the event 1 or more positions cannot be filled by local representatives, at-large representatives will fill the positions. So the intent there being, if, I don't think it's terribly likely, however, if for some reason we don't get people putting their hands up, or eligible representatives or potential representatives from within one of the given areas within the region, then we still want 10, a committee of 10 parent members. those positions could then be filled as an at-large position with the remaining candidates or nominees based on highest number of votes and working our way down. That makes sense? Any questions on that?
So we would essentially look at, if we didn't get any names under one of those, we would then look at who else was successful in terms of the voting.
Correct.
So I guess my question would be, where do you go first? So if the vacancy is one Burlington seat,
Mhm.
do you take an,
As a percentage of votes. So like if there were like 10 votes in Oakville and your third place had 3 out of 10, so they got 3. That between Milton with 9 votes, and they also got 3 votes out of 9.
okay, so someone's going to do that math.
Yeah, so in this scenario, is that there was 2 seats open in Burlington, only lines of that one. Now it's big in Burlington based candidate. But then over in Milton, there were 2 vacancies, 5 people. So you would take one of the Milton people, and it would be an at-large position. And wouldn't serve as a Burlington rep, it would be an at-large.
But my question is why do you go to Milton if Oakville also had the same scenario? Is that where the percentage comes in? Okay.
We could certainly do that if we want to specify how that mechanism would work. So, so this I think though can stand on its own just for the terms of reference, and then the second piece I think maybe we can add that specificity in there. So, if then would you want to review the second piece first or vote on this one first? Because there's 2 motions here. One to make this, I suggest we vote on this one, and then we can look at the second piece. Unless there's any other questions or concerns before we vote. No, okay.
Okay, so I'm going to ask for a motion then to amend the bylaws as presented on the screen. So that would be Jerry's motion.
So moved.
So Jerry will move it. Can I have a second, please? Ada? Okay, and just by show of hands, all in favor? That is unanimous. Beautiful. Okay, so that
Okay.
motion carries. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Okay, scrolling down to page 2. So regarding the CPIC election process, whereas the bylaw currently reads, voting will be conducted and completed by early May. Each school council will cast 1 ballot for each vacant local, regional, and at-large positions up for election that year. So, and whereas, of course, we've now just changed our terms of reference to not vote on at-large positions specifically, be it resolved that bylaw 1 election process be amended to reflect that change, and the handling of at-large positions going forward will read as follows. So I changed the title of the specific bylaw from regional and at-large positions to simply parent member positions. Okay, just for simplicity and clarity. Bullet 1 remains the same except for the removal of the reference to at-large positions. And then the second bullet being added there, in the event there are no eligible parent representatives for a given area of the region, those positions will be filled with at-large representatives from other areas based on highest number of votes received, regardless of where they are from within Halton. So.
Okay, so I think that has to be changed from number of votes to percentage of votes to make it fair. That is, I'm going to propose that as an amendment. Friendly one.
I have no issue with that. So based on highest percentage of votes received. Now, is that clear enough? Or do we need more? Need to be more specific than that? So fast forward.
They get percentage of votes.
Okay. And by region, we mean Oakville, Burlington, Milton, or North Halton. I must admit, I've often struggled with the reference to region in our bylaws because when I think of region, I think of Halton region.
Yeah, like
I don't
why?
think of our municipalities as regions,
But region is consistent within the bylaws.
I know, and I don't love it. So,
Yeah, I don't love it either because it's very confusing.
yeah.
It should be cities or towns, not.
And again, we have more work to do on the bylaws anyway, so we can we can for now because it's under. I think we understand it's region with a small r rather than a capital R kind of idea. We can live with it as is, but perhaps in our next go around. Sorry. Yeah, so we'll take that away because we'd have to change it throughout the document. So we'll take that away for a future update. But I think it's understood what is meant here. Any other questions or points of clarification?
Okay, so are we do you want to do this as a motion then? Okay, so Jerry is going to move a motion to accept this amendment
As amended?
as
So
amended.
moved.
Okay, Jerry's moved. Can I have a seconder, please? Becca? Okay, and by show of hands, all in favor? And unanimously carries. Thank you very much. Okay, that's everything for you from bylaws for now then, Jerry? Wicked. Okie doke. All right, so just to close up here then, our next meeting is obviously Council of Chairs is next Wednesday, February 19th. Please be at Corpus around 6:10. And our next CPIC meeting is Monday, March 31st. Janelle will be flying solo for that one because I won't be here. Okay. Okay, and if nobody has anything else, then we'll pass it over to Ada for our closing prayer, please.
Let's start with the sign of the cross in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Lord, I thank you that the ideas shared today, that the ideas shared today and the courage of each voice, bless our hearts and minds to know we've acted in your will. As we leave, may your passion inspire us, guiding our efforts and strengthening our purpose. Let your love sustain us as we walk towards our goals. May your strength uphold us, your power protect us, and your presence be with us always. Now let us pray as Jesus taught us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. All right. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Thank you.
Okay, that's all finished at 8:11. Thanks very much, everyone.